Hello and welcome to the Spit Take Podcast. I'm your host, Adam, and joining me as always is my co-host, Stef and Alex. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys. Don't tell us what to do.
Yeah.
I
Come
will
right
tell
out
you
the
what to
gate
do.
with the authoritarianism.
I know. God.
Yeah, well, you know what? Just take a chill pill. It's Tuesday night. It's been a long day. Okay. We have.
He leaves for a week and
I
he comes back and just tells us what to do.
I was gone for one episode. Okay. One
Gallivanting
episode.
across the country.
You know, sometimes it's fun to listen to things when you're not included in them. Okay. It's fun.
It's called eavesdropping, Adam.
I took a step back. I do that a lot.
Voyeurism.
Yeah. Well, in any case, we have a special guest tonight. Mine and Steph's dad, Ken Krauss, is on the show, also known as Coach to the Grandkids. Thanks for coming on, Dad.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. Well, your birthday is on Sunday, and you're turning the big 70. So we thought it would be a nice treat to have you on the show. You've been our number one fan since the beginning.
Yep.
And a lot of people, I've probably have mentioned it before, but especially in the early days, you were also our technical advisor, especially when it came to audio. So we appreciate it. The way it sounds now is a lot thanks to you. The podcast exists because of you and what you kind of got us into with movies and shows and everything growing up. So a lot of what we do here the past, how long has it been? Almost 3 years is because of the influence you've had on us. So
glad to do it. And I can just say that your mother is ashamed of all of us.
Mm-hmm. She doesn't understand it yet. She does
not.
I mean, listen, I'm kind of with Mom on some of the stuff you guys like. Okay. So,
well, you know, she also, when I started the podcast, I think we're maybe 5 or 6 episodes in, and Mom comes to me and she's like, does it bother you that I don't listen to your show? And I said, no, Mom, it's fine.
Oh yeah, she still hasn't listened to one of our shows.
That's the support we get from her, and we love her so much.
Well, you know, if I'm on, this episode that comes on, if it's out by Sunday when it's my birthday, then I'm going to make her listen to it.
There you go.
We'll put it on at the family celebration.
And nothing like a podcast to bring the whole party together.
That's right, and we're going to have it on repeat too. So no escaping.
Yeah. Yep. And you have your own podcast as well, From the Coach's Mouth, and it's available Spotify, YouTube, and what other platforms?
Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, pretty much anything I could find. I think that there's a special one, that's in the Georgian Republic that, they do that for that. If it's on there, if I can get to it from Spotify, it's going to be on there.
Nice. And you were, let's see. So you were in advertising. How many years were you in advertising? How many years did you do that?
Oh, gosh, too many. It was about probably 20 years in advertising and then another 20 years in public relations.
Yeah. And then you retired and you went to go fulfill your passion, which is coaching softball.
Yep. So I only do lessons. I gave up coaching teams shortly after you guys were all done with your youth stuff. I finally realized that it was time for me to stop doing that. I like doing the instruction part a lot better than I like the games. And then, so I figured, well, why don't I just do the part I like?
Yeah. And you do it pretty much every day. So, I know
that's how pathetic my life is.
I wouldn't call that pathetic. I think I think it's a good thing. You hear about the people who retire, and then they lose all meaning for life and they just die the next day. You had something that you're like, great, I've got something to do, gets me out of the house, I'm out in the sun, I'm exercising, it's keeping you healthy. So, that's great. But but he's one of the top pitching coaches in the Chicagoland area. So make sure you check out his website. What is it? softballsuccess.com. All right. Excellent. softballsuccess.com. And we'll post a link as well. But like I said, he was the biggest supporter for, I say he like you're not here. You were the biggest influence in us getting into pop culture. Running joke in the family is one of us will exposit the story so much that the joke is, okay, thank you. Now I don't have to watch it. So
that's
always.
Right.
So
right, we watch it so you don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I've been listening for a while now since Alex joined on, and I can see he's one of us. He's an honorary Krauss.
Oh,
he can do that too.
Although if I go by Alexander Peters Krauss, I think there's going to be some issues. My German heritage, they're going to wonder where my family was from 1941 through 46.
Yeah. Yep. And then somehow they moved down to Colombia.
Yeah, right.
So it was
This
a whole thing.
Argentinian tan you see on me right here. This is my escape from. What is
the THC drinks he has just hit?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. What is that? You remember? Did you ever see Munich?
Yes, with Eric Bana.
Yeah. What's the Mossad? Mossad is the Israeli this is my hiding from the Mossad mustache.
You know,
somehow I think that makes you look more like you're one of them.
So I did an event back in the day as security for a synagogue, and I met a guy, and he was telling me these stories. His job after World War II was to go hunt down Nazis in Mount Sinai.
Wow.
Like, he was out there with like a team of people hunting down the Nazis that escaped Germany. Like,
that's a fulfilling job right there.
Those were some intense stories, I'll tell you that. Dude was like, God, was he like 80, 90 years old when I met him? But yeah, crazy stories, but fun stuff in any case. But yeah, I mean, it reminded me of that movie too. And I was like, holy shit, like this guy's got some stuff going on. It's like he's probably got a couple of dark places down there.
In both his soul and his basement.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so we asked you to come up with 5 movies that from your generation that you think everybody should watch. Something that would be that would get people into pop culture. That, like, if you're going to talk about pop culture, you need to know the basics, which would be these movies. So what did you come up with?
Okay, and just before I get to it, I just want to say that, Adam, I know that you, one thing that I did give to you as a passion was reading IMDb, and especially the trivia sections.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
I also have that. I just did that today.
No, so I'm going to tell a little story. I stayed at mom and dad's house a couple weekends ago. My car was in the shop and they were gracious enough to host me. Dad came down to the city, got me, brought me up. Very thankful for that. They fed me, all that good stuff. So we're sitting there. We started a new show and we'll talk about it later. And Dad's sitting there. We're in the show and he's on his laptop and he's like, did you know this and this? Like, not watching the show, but reading the trivia. And I was like, well, you put the fucking computer down and let's just watch the show. And then you can look up all the trivia. But I was like, you're just ruining it. You're not even watching it. This is something that you guys do. And I'm like, it drives me nuts.
That's not ruining it. It's enhancing the experience.
Watch the show. Look up the trivia later.
You feel like you are a part of the production crew when you read the IMDb.
You learn the details. You get to see a little bit more. When you guys were growing up, before the computers, did you have that fucking tome, the Leonard Maltin's book that you would keep by the table in the living room? Like, oh, let's see what movie this is. And then you have trivia in there. It was basically IMDb trivia in the form of this thick ass Crichton-sized novel by Leonard Maltin, and we loved it in our house.
Yeah, no, I didn't have that, but I would find other sources, magazines, newspaper articles, things like that. So
nice.
Yeah, okay. I do enjoy the IMDb.
Me too.
Is extremely helpful
and entertaining. All right, so movie number 1 that I think that everybody should watch is MASH. Now, not the TV show, but the movie. They are very different. Okay, so MASH, that was Donald Sutherland and Elliot Gould played Hawkeye and Trapper. Interestingly, in the movie, Hawkeye is not as big a piece of the story as Trapper is. To me, he was a little bit more central. It's done in a style called Oddta, one damn thing after another. It's just a series of vignettes and these funny things happening to them while they're in the Korean War. And of course, really the whole thing was done as an allegory for the Vietnam War and the stupidity of all that stuff going on. But here's a little trivia for you, because I've also read the book. The author of the original book, who went under the pseudonym Richard Hooker, I can't remember what his real name is. He was an actual doctor, and he was actually more of a conservative than a liberal. And in one of the follow-up books, there was actually a thing in there where they were going through it, and they said, hey, let's run down to town and beat up some liberals.
Isn't it funny when the movie kind of takes a different tone from what the book has? Like Starship Troopers as a book was so authoritarian, and then the movie was just making fun of it.
Yeah. That was a very big, in the movie, they're very much kind of making a joke out of like the conservative ideal, like, hey, you need to be a citizen, join the Marines, and all that. Love that movie though. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've read the books though too. I read the books.
Didn't when I was in ROTC. They tried to get us to read them, but I never got into that. MASH though is a great call, by the way, Coach.
Thank you.
And there's football in there too. So
yeah, and of course, one of the great character names of all time. They bring in the running back, Spear Chucker Jones.
God,
oh my gosh,
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So, but he is a black guy, but he's called Spear Chucker because he was a javelin thrower in college, as well as being a running back. So they bring him in as a ringer because they have a bet with another one of the MASH units, for who's going to win this game. And they kind of keep him on the sidelines for a while and let the other team run up the score. And then they up the bet at halftime, and then they unleash this guy, and he's just running all over everything. And at one point, Colonel Blake is saying something, I think, to Radar. And he says, "What's going on over there?" And Radar says, "I think their ringer just spotted our ringer."
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen the MASH movie, to be honest.
Okay, well,
I'll have to put that on my list.
So one of the other great things about that movie was that was one of the first ones where dialogue overlapped. Up until that point, movies always had to have one person talking at a time. In that one, there are several conversations going on at the same time at some points. So, that was a very big stylistic change for movies, and you see a lot more of it now these days. But that was the first one to do that.
When did that come out?
1970, I think.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, 1970.
Wow.
Dang.
Was that kind of in that birth of the new cinema, the new Hollywood in the early 70s when you've got MASH and then all of that great run by Jack Nicholson with like 5 Easy Pieces and The Last Detail?
Yep. All right. Shall we move on?
Yeah.
I know Steph's already bored.
Steph's been sitting there getting comfortable.
No, I'm struggling. My neck is really hurting, so I tried to move this pillow and it's not really working. So it's fine. I'll be moving
by the last hour, Steph's just going to be a face surrounded by very soft pillows and comfy things, just all nestled in there.
It's one of my favorite things is watching the evolution of Steph during a video during a recording, because she'll start like sitting up on her couch, like into the conversation. She slowly moves to her side and then she's doing her nails. And then she's like, gotta go charge my computer, and moves to the bed. It's like,
I actually started I'm starting on my chair so I don't have to move to charge my computer because my charger's over here. So I've changed it, but this chaise lounge is a little too deep. So I'm like trying to figure this out. Hey, at least I'm not falling asleep again. I fell asleep on one of our podcasts.
You've fallen asleep a couple of times, I think.
Yeah, that was before I realized.
With me.
No, but that was
not
before
with these dulcet tones.
That was before I realized that I had him post these on YouTube. Yeah, I had no
idea. She didn't know that we were posting the videos. Actually, I don't even think we were posting. We did them a lot more live, and she didn't know that we were doing that. I don't even think I was posting the videos on YouTube yet. But she's like, "Wait, we're live?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we're live on YouTube like every week." And she was like, "Maybe I should start like doing my makeup or something." I'm like, "Sure." I thought she knew. Sarah knew.
Well, Sarah's the one who told me. Sarah's like, "Did you know that you're live?" I'm like, "What?" No, I've literally taken naps during some of our podcasts.
Yeah, it's great.
Ken, before you go to the next one, I do have to point out, MASH has one of the best theme songs.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Yeah, and one of the best names for a song. Fucking Suicide is Painless is the name of that song. That song that you fell asleep to at the end of the night, as the TV's starting to close down, I'm going to go to bed, MASH is ending. Suicide is Painless is the name of that fucking song.
All right.
Yeah.
So now, Alex, we're going to test your trivia knowledge. Do you know who wrote the lyrics to that song?
If you can give me a clue, I can get close.
How old was the guy who wrote the lyrics to Suicide is Painless?
Well, was he 27? Was he in that club? I don't know.
14.
Fucking 14 years old?
14. It was the son of the producer, I think. Or either the son of the producer or son of the director.
Did he make it to 15?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
They just told him here, just kind of write these funny lyrics to this music. And he just kind of came up with that, which related to the scene where the dentist decides that he can't live anymore. I think because he couldn't get it up one time with someone. And so he just decided he was referred to as the best equipped dentist best equipped Polish dentist in the army. And then one time he couldn't get it up and he just decides his life is over. I'm not going to ruin
a choice.
it. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to ruin the rest of it for you, but he does survive the movie.
Well, and anytime I know that, I don't know if he was in the movie or not, but just talking about MASH, anytime you see Alan Alda, it's just a treat.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He's an national treasure.
Yep. Yeah. Now, he was not in the movie. He was just in the TV show.
Okay. Yeah. Every time I see him on something, when he showed up on 30 Rock as Jack's dad, I was like, oh, it's Alan Alda.
Yeah.
I want to mention something for the people that have not listened or are tuning in for Alex. Our dad is also a musician. So when it comes to music, he's very knowledgeable and knows a lot of musical trivia. So Alex, he might school you and put you to shame on music.
Depending on the decade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't think he's going to know about WAP, but...
but he probably knows this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it. I will tell you, though, especially... Warren Zevon, sure. Beatles, I cannot be beaten.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Beatles fan, and I've read probably everything there is to read. I even know conflicting trivia. So
interesting. Okay. All right. Well, we got to get to the other movies, but I'm going to just randomly, like fucking Kato from the Pink Panther, attack you with trivia about the Beatles throughout.
Okay.
Sure.
We're good.
You will never know when it's coming.
Yeah.
All righty. So shall we move on to the next movie?
Yep. Next movie.
Okay. High Plains Drifter.
Oh, great movie.
Clint Eastwood.
That's probably my favorite Clint Eastwood movie, to be honest.
Trouble with the Curve. Greatest Clint Eastwood movie ever.
That's a good one, too.
Yeah. I don't think
But it's not, it's no High Plains Drifter.
High Plains Drifter is really fucking good.
It's about a ghost who comes back to take revenge and like simultaneously like fucks over the town that killed him. Like it's a crazy story, but it's so good.
Is it like a Western?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is still in his solid Western outlaw Josie Wales, Two Mules for Sister Sarah era.
Well, it actually was. It was the first movie he directed, and it was right after he had done all of the Man with No Name spaghetti westerns. So this was his first American one like that. It was basically like the Italian westerns were. And Adam's right. He's you don't know what he is at first. He's just this guy that kind of rides into town, and he's just kind of walks in. He gets a drink somewhere. There's these ruffians that have been there that are supposed to be protecting the town because some guys that they sent to prison are scheduled to get out. And so he just kind of rides into the town, and then he goes to get a shave, and he's got his back to the door, and these guys are all like, yeah, we're going to go show him. And they spin him around, and he just shoots them all.
Yeah.
And then he just gets up and wipes his face from the shaving cream and stuff. And then he's going around. They want to hire him to be the guy that takes those out. And those were actually the guys who had killed him when he was alive.
Yeah. It's a pretty savage movie too. Pretty savage. And, but it's so well done. And I don't even feel like he has a lot of dialogue in the movie. It's all looks and stances and action. Like, he really doesn't say that much when you think about it.
He glowers a lot, and he glowers well.
Mm-hmm.
But the lines he has are great. So there's one where there's this guy that's sneaking up behind him, and he starts pulling out a knife. And Clint doesn't even turn around. He just says to that guy, "You're going to look pretty silly with that knife sticking out of your ass."
Yeah.
And the guy just like slides it back in and slinks away.
Mm-hmm.
We all want that one cool line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That is a great movie that I have not seen in a long time. I'm going to have to sit down and watch
Doesn't he make them paint the town red?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he renamed it Hell.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. The name of the town is Lago or Lagos, but he writes hell over the top of it and stuff. And he's supposedly training all the townspeople to shoot the guys that are coming back, to kill them before they kill all the townspeople. And of course, they all chicken out when the actual thing comes. And let's see. I think it's Stacy Keach is like the main bad guy.
Yeah.
The guy that in Every Which Way But Loose is his like good buddy.
Yeah, because he leaves the town right before the final battle, and then they're trying to like shoot it out with them, and they end up losing horribly. And then they're all like huddled in the bar, and then all of a sudden they hear something outside, and he just like starts beating them to death. It's great.
Yeah,
great movie.
Well, they hear something outside, and one of the guys goes out there to check it, and all of a sudden they hear this whip crackling. And that was how he was killed, was he was whipped to death. And so it's like they hear this, and then just this whip comes flying into the saloon, all by itself. And they're like, holy crap, what's going on here?
Yeah. That's a really good one. That is a really good one. Good recommendation on that one.
Thanks.
Do you have any other Westerns in your recommendations? Or because if not, I want to stay in the 70s Western for a second.
Okay. Not in my main, well, actually I do, but it's not so much a straight Western. So if you want to go to another one, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, do you fall into the Eastwood Man with No Name kind of era? Or do you like a little bit of Wayne, a little bit of John, the Duke, if you will?
Oh, yeah. That's one of my honorable mentions.
Okay. I will wait for that before we discuss it.
Okay. All right. One other great line that, actually, I'm going to tell you two other great lines from that movie, just to give you an idea what his character is like. So one of them, they're trying to negotiate the price of what's going to take for him to stay and kill all, there's like 4 or 5 guys they have to take. And they say, how about $500 a head? He goes, $500 an ear.
There was one other great scene in that movie. Before we move on, one other great scene where there's like a few people from the town who don't really like him being there or anything, and they go trying to sneak into his room in the hotel at night to like beat him to death. So they come up and they surround the bed and they start beating, and he's just left pillows in there, and he's just standing outside the window with a cigar and a stick of dynamite. And he just lights it and throws it in the room with the guys. Fucking classic.
And then
some Bugs Bunny shit right there.
Yeah. And then after that, the preacher is saying that, how can you put all these people out? How can you do all of that? And, and he says, our brothers and sisters, how can you do that? And he goes, these all your brothers and sisters? And the guy says, yeah. And he goes, well, then you won't mind if they stay at your house.
Nice.
So many good ones.
Oh, Clint. He was what is it, Rawhide?
Yeah.
He was in. And then later on, like he went into spaghetti westerns, had his own thing. I think Outlaw Josie Wales.
Same premise, by the way.
Good, but yeah. It's kind of the same. Well, it's kind of like Rio Bravo and Rio, whatever the 2 Wayne movies that are El Dorado. Yeah, they're the same fucking movie.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so next movie, Blazing Saddles.
Ooh. Great
to
movie.
Me, for my money, that is the funniest movie that was ever made. And that was one where when we had to go to the movie theaters to see it, this is before video. I mean, every time I'd watch it, there'd be some other thing that I saw that I'd never seen before. I mean, the first time I saw it, I lost half the dialogue because people were laughing so hard and so long.
Yeah. I remember
brilliant.
Yeah. You showed me that when I was a kid. You were like, we got to watch this movie. I'm like, all right. I watched it. It is probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite Mel Brooks movie. And early days Mel Brooks, he wasn't so much doing like spoof movies. He was writing outlandish comedies that were based on different movies, right? Like that was based on Black
it was
Mark.
Satire, which is a much broader paintbrush, I think.
Yeah.
Spoof.
Yeah. He didn't really start spoofing until Spaceballs.
Well, that was a spoof. I mean, that was, the first couple movies he did were based on other stories.
Right. That's what I'm saying is like they weren't necessarily like spoofs in the way that Spaceballs was. But like for me, like watching that, maybe I've just never seen exactly what if he was spoofing something, but I think it was more like inspired by, because I know that that they took a lot of it from Black Bart. I know that was a huge part from that one, or a huge influence on that movie. But I feel like he was writing more and I think that's what set him apart from like, some of these dumb red title movies we talk about all the time and how bad they are, is that he was writing a genuine comedy with an actual story in it. He wasn't just like, oh, let's throw in a couple of jokes here and there and, not really have any story going on. So I think that just the way he did it really set the standard. And I think that's been a hard standard for anybody to live up to, even himself nowadays.
Sure.
So,
yeah. I mean, he satirized some of the best parts of the Westerns from that era. I mean, having the Gabby Hayes character, Mongo being, which is great because Mongo was such a popular football player at the time too. And was it Alex Karras?
Yep. Yeah. Alex Karras.
and just even the bullshit joke of Hedy Lamarr.
Yeah.
That's Hitler.
This is 1865. You can sue her.
Sue her.
Yeah. There's
work. Hello, boys. I missed you.
Very quotable movie.
It is.
God.
It's most of it's quotable. Some of it is not quotable by people of our pigment. But yeah.
Yeah, you just have to skip over those words or just laugh and go, I get that it's bad.
One of the funniest lines in that movie is not quotable by us.
Yeah.
When he gives, or when he's passing the old lady in the street.
Oh, God.
What a lovely morning it is. Yeah. And then the next line.
Yeah.
But it's great because you have Gene Wilder capping that bit off with they're simple people of the land, morons.
Yeah. And that laugh was genuine too. That was a genuine laugh. He wasn't like expecting that.
Yeah, Gene Wilder's brilliant in that movie.
Yeah, I think Gene Wilder, I think he improvised that line and he cracked him up. But there's just so many good parts to that. And, I always like... What?
Sorry. I was saying Madeline Kahn. Now I'm just like going through Blazing Saddles, just watching it in my head.
Yep. Yeah. Steph, have you seen Blazing Saddles?
Don't worry,
it's
I'm
really
still
funny.
here.
It's really, really funny.
As we talk about things, you should just be having your IMDb up and adding to your watch list. Be like, gotta watch
this
that.
pod is actually just for you. We're not going to release this. This is just movies that your dad thinks that you need to watch.
Exactly.
It's an intervention.
Adam and I are here to help.
Yeah.
This is an intervention. This is intervention. Intervention? Intervention.
Yeah, there you go.
Trademark that shit, Adam.
That's great. It's great.
Yeah.
I need a lawyer.
So then they had there were some lines that would just crack me up all the time and be like, Howard Johnson is saying, and did you know that, I'm sorry, no, that wasn't it. Howard Johnson's saying something or other. And the one guy is just sitting there and he's rolling his drink around in his glass and he goes, I'll blow it out your ass, Howard. For no particular reason. But that one just cracked me up.
The fact that everybody in the town, his last name is Johnson.
Yeah.
And if you look at the board behind them, they're all like, John Johnson's right about Howard Johnson being right.
Yeah. There was, I read a story about it where John Wayne was offered the part that Gene Wilder took. He was originally offered that part. And he said, for my brand, I can't be in that movie, but you'd be damn sure I'll be the first one in line to see it.
Yeah, John Wayne was a huge fan of it. Also, did you know the guy that sings the theme song, "He rode a blazing saddle," was a legitimate Western singer?
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't realize that it was going to be a satire. So he was really mad. He was really mad when he found out what the movie was.
Yeah.
He sold the shit out of it.
Well, and I think you told me this. I'm positive you told me this, that back when the movie first came out and they have the scene where they break the fourth wall and, it pulls out from the town where the fight's going on and it goes to the studio and then it goes to like this dance number. And you were saying like nobody knew what was going on at that point.
Right.
Like you were just kind of watching this and it's like it had moved to a different movie and then they come breaking through.
Literally breaking through the fourth wall.
Literally breaking through.
Screw you, I worked for Mel Brooks. Not in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
I can quote way too much of that movie.
Yeah. I mean, when that happened, you're just sitting there going, what the hell is going on? I just had, no idea. Nobody in the theater had any idea what was happening there. And then they go into the dance with the guy, throw out your hands, stick out your tush. Hands on your hips. Give them a push.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised. We're doing the French mistake. Voila. So
it's so, yeah.
And
there's so many.
That's such an amazing movie in Mel Brooks's timeline of amazing movies. I mean, you said Spaceballs already, but Young Frankenstein, you got The Producers, both the original and when he made it into a musical later on. I mean, I can see why people need to have seen that movie just because it didn't create the comedy the way we know it now, but it sure as fuck hardened the edges of it that taught you how to walk through it.
Yeah. Again, so many great things about that movie. And I heard they claim that this is the first movie where a fart was on screen.
There was a couple of them.
That's the thing is when they were sitting around the fire, not only was it the first time a fart had been heard in a movie, it was that there was a lot of farts being heard at that time. But that's like, it's like Psycho back in the day being rated R because there was a toilet and a toilet had never been shown on screen before. That was the whole reason it was rated R.
Yep.
Which is wild.
It's also such a trip. Cleavon Little wasn't the original choice. It was supposed to be Richard Pryor, but he had substance abuse problems, so he ended up just writing. And apparently he mostly just wrote most of Mongo's lines, which were just simple things.
Yeah. Well, that's what I remember seeing Mel Brooks talking about, was he goes, so we have Richard Pryor in there, and then we got all these Jewish guys, and he goes, the Jewish guys did all the black jokes, and Pryor's doing all the Jewish jokes.
Yeah. Yeah. Mel Brooks was just a genius. He was ahead of his time. I want to say Robin Hood Men in Tights was the last movie he made that I truly thought was great comedy. Things after, I guess, you know what? Dracula Dead and Loving It had its moments. That was a pretty funny movie.
I've seen that one.
Yeah, Leslie Nielsen.
When he adapted to producers afterwards to be a musical, that was well done.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm totally with you on that, because there's not much. But I mean, that's fine. I mean, nobody is perfect from the beginning of their career to the end of their career. You have this art that comes out of you and the things that you want to say and your view on life, and you do it as many times as you can, and then it's been done.
Yeah, and I also feel like he can't get away with as much as he could back then. And we can always look back and say, it was the 70s. It was the 80s. That's fine.
Yeah. I don't know. Scary Movie beat out Masters of the Universe this weekend at the box office. And I saw that bitch. That was funny, man. That was old school funny. That was no holds barred.
Oh, thank God.
I heard really good things about Scary Movie. I'm definitely going to go see it. People have been raving, and they're like, it's exactly what we expected and what we had hoped it would be.
Yeah. It's very awesome. Millennial coded. Because they make fun of the kids, and I don't want to give too much away for you guys, but it's exactly what you want. Stef, you're totally right. It's what we want.
I've seen a lot of people coming out on that saying oh yeah, it's so bad and all that. It populates on my Facebook, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to see this. I was like, too many people are upset by it. I was like, I have to go see this movie.
It's good.
And the Wayans brothers did that, right?
Oh yeah. They finally got control back after 3 and 4.
Yeah. And 5. Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. Well, so one of which one was it? Was it Marlon Wayans? Because he went off and did his own scary movie spoof or horror movie spoof, which was funny. A Haunted House. I cracked up. I laughed so hard in the theater watching that because it felt like watching Scary Movie. It was still the same. Yeah. The second one not as good, but the first one was really funny. It gave you kind of that Scary Movie fix that you needed.
So one last thing about Blazing Saddles, and this is more my personal experience with it. So I remember that was, first of all, I went to see that. It was the last date I was going to have with this girl I was dating. And I knew that it was over, and I was kind of bummed about it. But I laughed so hard at that movie that, it made it better. But then what would happen was, in the days before video, every now and then, the Willow Creek Church?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, they got started in the Willow Creek Theater. That used to be a movie theater. And every now and then they would do a Mel Brooks film festival. So they would show the producers, they would show the 12 Chairs, which is a great, very underrated movie. And then they would show Blazing Saddles. So you could go there, during the day. So you'd show up at 2:00 on a November afternoon, and you'd be in there, you'd see 3 2-hour movies. You come out and it's freaking dark. You're like, wow, I spent my entire day here. $3.
I used to do that at sports bars. I used to do that at sports bars. I would go in during the day at 2:00 and then come out and be like, oh God, it's night.
So yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love that. That's a great movie. And yeah, definitely if you're listening and have not seen Blazing Saddles, you need to go watch it.
Yeah, well, make sure you see it uncut. Don't watch it on WGN or something like that.
No.
So if we haven't lost Stef by now, she's going to be lost on this next one. Star Wars. Nothing but Star Wars.
I heard you guys talking about Star Wars last week on the podcast, and I felt so bad for Alex because you guys are like, I don't get it. It's got all the aliens and stuff. And I was like, come on.
It's not what we said. We said that we didn't like it because it was dumb.
You said it was weird. You said it was dumb. And I was like, now I regret skipping this podcast. So
and Alex pulled out a lightsaber.
I heard.
I don't think he had another date with Leslie after that.
We have plans tomorrow.
Oh,
she asked if I wanted to do something around 2:30, and I said, "Oh, what? A dentist's favorite time?"
She decided that was not going to happen.
Yeah, well, she blocked me, but I mean, it doesn't matter. Star Wars is great. Talk about the first Star Wars, A New Hope.
Yes, A New Hope. I mean, it really set a standard. that was, the thing that the studio executives were saying. They didn't pay much attention to it. They said, I think no space movie has ever made a nickel.
Mm-hmm.
No science fiction, none of it worthwhile. So Lucas, he didn't have a huge budget, but he had a lot of leeway for it because they didn't care. It's like, okay, go ahead and make your little sci-fi movie.
Yeah, that's
well. He was American Graffiti a success because that was his debut,
right? Well, THX 1138 was actually his debut, but nobody knew that one. I've never even seen that one. But yeah, so American Graffiti, that was a pretty successive movie, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then, then Star Wars came out and it just changed it. One of the funny stories I remember was that I think Mark Hamill was telling the story that he and Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford were on a plane and they were flying somewhere to do a press thing. Okay. And then they look out and there's all these people waiting at the airport. There's just like tons and tons of people. And Mark Hamill's saying to the others, wow, there must be some big celebrity on board here. And it turned out that everybody was waiting for them.
Yeah.
They were like, that's when we first realized what we were part of.
Yeah.
Kudos to Mark Hamill because he could have let that movie completely define him, but he slid into voice acting and became, say what you want for all of the other Jokers, but his voice as the Joker in the animated series and everything else they've done with it is the Joker voice that I hear in my head.
100%. Nobody's been able to emulate that. Like that is, they've had a lot of different voice actors do the Joker over the years, but you can tell the difference. I think they had John DiMaggio do it, the guy who does the voice of Bender. Like he did it for one of the movies, and I heard the Joker.
The DCEU was all over the map.
I was like, what is this?
Or DCAU, the animated universe.
Yeah, and then he did it for all the Batman Arkham games, which was awesome. Yeah, but yes, Mark Hamill, you're right. He was the only one who really didn't let it. I shouldn't say he's the only one who didn't let it define him, but he's the only one who I feel like really embraced it versus Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford were kind of like, well, that's just who I am now. I'm Han Solo. I'm Leia. I know Carrie Fisher was very annoyed by the fact that everyone just saw her as Leia.
Yeah. I don't know if I've told this before, but I met Peter Mayhew, the guy who played Chewbacca. He met and fell in love with a woman from Granbury, Texas, and came and moved down there when I was in high school. And I did security. All 5'6", chubby, curly hair of me did security for him at his signing at the Opera House. And I got to sit around and talk to him. The most lovely man you'll ever meet until you say the word Star Wars. And then it's just like pushing play on a thing. He's polite, but he's said these sentences 3 billion times.
Did you guys ever see the late night one with Harrison Ford? Where,
on Jimmy Kimmel?
Yeah, it was on Jimmy Kimmel where they're interviewing and he said, I don't want any Star Wars questions. I don't want to do anything. And so they go to the audience and then, like a couple of people ask these questions and then Chewbacca's in the audience. And he says, starts making the noises. She was my wife.
You got a lot of guts coming here.
Yeah. For all the grumpiness that he gets, he seems like a pretty fucking funny dude. Like he's just an old stoner. Apparently he used to sell pot, which I think is great.
Yeah. Yeah. He is really funny. Like in Shrinking, his delivery is so great. Mm-hmm. He's like the grumpy old man, but his lines are the best.
And how he's afraid of Liz.
Mm-hmm.
Is she going to be here?
Yeah. And Carrie Fisher was so funny too. And I love seeing her in so many things because she did an episode of 30 Rock where she shows up and she was the old writer for some show that Liz watched when she was a kid or whatever.
Yeah, it was like a laugh
inspired her. Yeah. And they were kind of making fun of, I want to say they were making fun of SNL a little bit with that one. Cause like she was a comedy sketch writer, right?
Yeah.
And so she comes to Liz and then they're like, oh, let's hire her on to be like a guest writer for the show for an episode. And then she starts bringing out these ideas that are just like completely wild. And like, and Liz like, you can't show that on TV. And she was like, oh, come on. We always used to push the envelope back in the day. Everybody in the writer's room was on cocaine. And it was just kind of like, it was the contrast of like what SNL was versus what it became. And it was like clearly like kind of a joke about that. And I'm sure that was from Tina Fey's own experience, probably having some older writer telling her that. Yeah. So, but yeah, Carrie Fisher was so funny in that one. She was great.
And she was a great script doctor, too. People, when they had a script that wasn't working or wasn't funny enough, they'd bring her in just quietly. She wouldn't even get a credit for it. She'd just get paid, and she'd do these brilliant things.
Yeah. We're like minds, Coach, because I literally just Googled movies Carrie Fisher script doctor, and she did punch-ups for Hook, Lethal Weapon 3, Sister Act, The River Wild. They wouldn't expect that. The Wedding Singer, Last Action Hero.
We talked about that before.
Yeah.
She was in Hook too.
Was she?
Carrie Fisher was?
She was.
Are you thinking, are you mixing her up with Glenn Close?
No, I'm not.
No,
I'm not. Carrie Fisher was in there. I will tell you. So Carrie Fisher and George Lucas were both in the movie. So when Tinkerbell first takes Peter Pan, she wraps him up in the blanket and she's carrying him away to Neverland. They fly over a bridge and there's two people who are making out that you can only see really like kind of a silhouette of them. She flies over and they start flying up into the air. That was Carrie Fisher and George Lucas.
You're right. I do remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Point at them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, stupid things I know get me nowhere in life.
Yeah.
Although they have Pop Culture Jeopardy now and we watch religiously and I'm doing very well.
Isn't, what's his name from SNL hosting that?
Yeah. Colin Jost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Colin
Jost. How's he doing?
He's doing good. He's a good host.
Nice.
Yeah.
I wish well for him. He married Scarlett Johansson. God bless.
Yeah.
He and Shay are pretty funny together on SNL.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite bit with those two is when they exchange the jokes that the other one hasn't seen. And you have to read it live on the air.
Mm-hmm.
And the one time Che just went after Scarlett Johansson.
Yes.
And she was backstage watching all of this.
Yeah.
It's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, but yeah, we got way off of Star Wars somehow.
Yeah,
but
fucking Star Wars.
we didn't even talk about Star Wars.
We didn't?
Star Wars. No, we were just kind of talking about the actors in it, but
We've been talking about Star Wars the whole time.
There's more, guys.
Well,
okay, what about the movie did you really like, Ken? Like, what made that movie something that someone should see outside of the technical achievements?
I mean, I just loved, it was the hero's journey story. Luke Skywalker, this lame little farm kid, out there, gets this opportunity, ends up being on this starship. The thing that really got me more than anything else was the whole concept of the Jedi. I just thought that was cool as hell. It was like, I would love to be a Jedi. They kind of ruined it later on when some of the other movies came out. I mean, don't even talk to me about midichlorians.
Yeah. The less said about midichlorians, the better.
The original concept made it look as though if you got the proper training, anybody could be a Jedi.
Are you up to date on everything? Like, have you seen Clone Wars and all the Disney Plus series?
I don't think I've seen Clone Wars. I have seen some of the other animated stuff. I did see Mandalorian. Loved Mandalorian. Book of Boba Fett was okay. I absolutely hated Andor. Is that
Andor?
Andor, yeah. Couldn't stand Andor.
What?
I found it boring.
I'm on the same page with him. I just I've tried like 3 times and I'm like, I can't get past episode 3.
Yeah.
I'm like,
okay, but have you so you have not finished it, either of you, like you're only in the first season?
I finished the first season. And to me, it was like C-SPAN in space.
I get that. The first season was really, really slow. And it was all very more like the seeds of it. If you watch it again in the second season, they do such a good job of showing you why the rebellion had to start, of why the Empire, or what the Empire was doing was just crushing people down and pushing people down, and the machinations that they used to make false flag attacks on places so that they could take over their resources. It's different Star Wars, but my God, that second season's so good.
Yeah, I don't know.
I gotta make it through the first season.
Did you like Obi-Wan?
Yes, I liked Obi-Wan.
That was good. Yeah,
I thought that was well done. Ahsoka liked that one.
Mm-hmm. The Acolyte kind of sucked.
Yeah. I saw a couple episodes. Yeah,
it was okay.
Crew wasn't bad. It was what it was supposed to be.
Wanted to watch that one. I didn't watch it.
Which one was that?
Skeleton Crew?
Oh, yeah, I saw part of that.
Stranger Things with Star Wars.
Yeah,
that's it.
I actually heard about that on this podcast. This very podcast, you guys were talking about that. Before pre-Stef and pre-Alex.
Must have been Rick.
The guys were talking about that one, and I would watch it when I was walking on the treadmill downstairs.
I did watch The Bad Batch, which was good.
See, I never watched that one.
That was a good one. I really liked that. And I didn't really watch the Clone Wars, so I didn't know the characters. But going into it, I thought it was a very good show. I thought it was very well done. Just a group of clones that were just different than the rest, and started their own kind of rogue group. It was good. I really liked it.
Well, we're at 50 minutes and we got multiple other movies to get to.
Yeah. So let's
all right.
Move to
I'll stop distracting with random
number 5. This is number 5. This is The Godfather.
Number 9. Number 9. Number 9.
Number 5, The Godfather. That, for men, The Godfather teaches everything you need to know about being a man. And it's starting with, it's not personal, it's business.
Mm-hmm.
But,
something I say often at work.
Yeah. It's not personal, it's just business. The one thing about watching that movie, especially if I'm watching it on, like a good big screen TV, or when I would see it in the theater, I'd always get hungry for Italian food. There's a lot of Italian food in there, and I love Italian.
Yeah.
Pay attention, kid. You never know when you're going to have to cook for a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a great movie. Just overall, every single part of that movie ties together really well. It tells a great story. And Godfather 2 was good as well. But, the first one has probably the most quotable lines. The time to hit the mattress.
Yeah.
Yeah. Order the mattresses. Did you guys ever read the book?
Mattresses.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, it's total pulp, but it's good. They do a good job.
Yeah. That's when the other ones leave the gun, take the cannolis.
Yeah.
Which was improvised by that character, the Clemenza character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think that set the standard for mob movies.
Yeah.
Goodfellas followed, probably 10 years after that?
Something like that. Yeah. Casino.
Maybe a little longer. Yeah.
Another great one.
Yeah.
But yeah, The Godfather just has a style to it. And I think one of the most amazing things is when you just see the character arc of Michael Corleone, when he starts out as just this young war hero that came back and wanted nothing to do with any of the stuff with the family and all that. He was just kind of an outsider with it. And then he gets drawn into it. And by the end, he's the most cold-blooded killer of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You never go against the family.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Never go against the family.
Never ask me about my business.
Yeah.
So many good lines.
One of the trademarks, I think, of Quentin Tarantino's movies is heavy dialogue, good acting, ultra violence. Heavy dialogue, pop culture references, good acting, heavy violence. And I think Godfather's almost a beta of that, in that you had this beautiful story about a family and the love of a family having together and their weddings and everything. And then you have murder. And then you have Sonny killed on the causeway. And look how I massacred my boy. It paved the way for so much. Did you see Miles Teller had a movie a couple of years ago called The Offer?
I don't think I've seen that one. I like Miles Teller.
Highly recommend. It's basically maybe 5 or 6 episodes, short run series that's all about him as who's the famous whoever the heck it is. It's all about making The Godfather.
Okay.
He's playing Albert Ruddy.
Okay.
One of the producers for The Godfather. And it goes through, if you like Godfather, you'll absolutely love it, because the guy they get playing Pacino is great. The guy they had playing, Brando is awesome. Puzo. They do a really good job, because it was such a hard movie to get made at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I can imagine. But yeah, it's just beautifully shot. Beautifully scored, memorable lines, crazy stuff that happens. And it's the mob, and everybody at that point, they kind of romanticized it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And a lot of the tropes that just we think of now as the mob were created by that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
for sure.
And the less said about Godfather 3, the better.
Yeah.
Yep.
It gave us Sofia Coppola.
There's some movies that
great director.
There's some movies that should just never be remade, and The Godfather is one of them.
Yep. It could never be made better.
Adam, we should write that down for ideas if we're having movies that should never be remade.
That is a good one. There's a lot of them.
Yep. All right. So I'm going to go to my honorable mentions real quick. You guys talked about this one. We all talked about it a little bit. The Producers.
Mm-hmm.
Mel Brooks.
Yep.
His first major motion picture. absolutely well done. I'm not a big fan of the remake, the musical. It just, because to me, the producers was such a perfect, tight movie with such great performances that when you stretch it out and add all these songs and dances and all this other crap to it, it just didn't need it. So not a fan, although Curb Your Enthusiasm did a great takeoff on that.
Yes, they did.
So where
that was a great season.
Mel Brooks is tired of producing the producers on Broadway. He's trying to kill it, so he hires Larry David to be one of the, I think the Zero Mostel character, the shady producer hires him to be that because he figures he'll be so bad that it'll kill it.
Yeah.
And
Yep. That's clever.
Yeah. It was a great season, the whole thing. And then it just culminates to being like, basically they were just trying to pull the producers.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to do the show anymore. And he's like, whatever. He's like, we'll make it so bad that nobody will ever ask us to do it again. And then all the audience comes out and they're like, hide your faces. They do the whole bit.
Yeah.
Hide your faces. And then they come out and all the audience is talking about how great it is.
Yeah.
But, and to your point with the remake, I like Will Ferrell, but he's no Kenneth Mars.
Yeah.
There is no one like Kenneth Mars on earth.
Nobody played a funny Nazi like Kenneth Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah. All love to Colonel Klink.
Yes. But Kenneth Mars was the best. Yeah. Hitler was a better painter than Churchill. He could paint 2 rooms, or he could take the entire room in an afternoon. 2 coats.
Kenneth Mars was great.
I'm just hearing, with every movie that you brought up, except for High Plains, I've heard like a song involved with it in my head, like Suicide is Painless, He Rode a Blazing Saddle, and then from this one, Springtime
for Hitler.
Oh yeah.
Germany.
When they do that in the actual play, and then they just cut to the audience, and every mouth is just open, and people are staring at it in horror. It was so brilliant. And then
great.
Roger Debris, the director,
comes out as the very flamboyant Hitler, and everyone's, it's satire.
Yeah. So so that was one. Rio Bravo, which you mentioned before, Alex. That that's on my honorable mentions. Again, to me, these are all movies that if I come across them on TV, I will stop. I will watch them wherever they are, and I will watch them to the end.
Is Rio Bravo the one with Dean Martin or the one with not Dean Martin?
With Dean Martin.
Okay.
Dean Martin plays the drunk. In El Dorado, John Wayne plays the drunk. And what movie is that a line from? Okay, so that was actually said in Be Cool, the John Travolta movie, the sequel to Get Shorty, where somebody's describing it and somebody says something about the movies, and John Travolta says, no, in Rio Bravo, Dean Martin played the drunk. In El Dorado, John Wayne played the drunk.
Oh,
says, the man knows his movies.
Like Ricky
Nelson.
Ricky Nelson played like the young buck.
Right. He was the young, fast gunslinger.
Yeah. Stef, this basically was a Western back in like the heyday of Westerns. And
it was 59.
Yeah. Like a lot of Western tropes, it was 2 or 3 people standing up for what they believed in against a horde of bad guys that were coming against them. Very much the American ideals brought up in the 1950s. Like, we defeated the Nazis last decade. We are America. We stand alone against the masses. So all of these movies were harkening back to what America really saw as their heyday, which is the Wild West. They romanticized, England has medieval times and castles and queens. We have Wild Bill Cody and, John Wayne.
Yep.
Gotcha. I'm here. Don't.
Sorry, Stef, man, the THC drink really has kicked in now. I'm sitting over here dabbing my head like a Southern lawyer, drinking my THC.
Yeah. So at one point, Ricky Nelson asked John Wayne why he always carries a rifle. He says, well, I found that someone was faster with a short iron than I was. So that's why he carries a rifle, because he could shoot the guy real quick.
Did you ever see Quigley Down Under?
I think so.
Who was it? Mustache. Magnum P.I.
Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck Western in Australia with Professor Snape as the bad guy.
Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman as the bad guy. Fucking great. He's got this Henry rifle. It's like just amazing. Everyone's like, why don't you use a pistol? And he's just better with a rifle.
Yeah. Okay, last one, Kelly's Heroes. Another Clint Eastwood movie. Anybody here? Anybody besides me familiar with that one?
I'm pretty sure I've seen that one. I'm just trying to remember all of it.
So Clint Eastwood is, I think he's a private, but he had been a lieutenant and he got busted down to private for doing something or other. He finds out that behind the German lines, there's $40 million in gold bullion sitting in a bank. And he's like, we got all this equipment. We got all these guys. Says, all we got to do is just kind of point our guns down that way, march into that town, bust open the bank, take all that gold bullion, and out we go. So it's kind of a caper movie for a lot of it, and it's very funny. Don Rickles is in it.
He's got to love Don Rickles.
Is that the one with Donald Sutherland, or am I thinking of The Dirty Dozen?
Dirty Dozen.
Both of them. He's in both.
Oh, so
is he?
Is that
okay?
Yeah. So he's in Kelly's Heroes. He's the tank driver.
Yeah. Yes, he dressed up like a general at one point.
Yeah. No, that's Dirty Dozen.
That one's Dirty Dozen, yeah.
Right. In Kelly's Heroes, he's just, he's called Oddball. So he's kind of like a hippie in 1944 or whatever it's supposed to be. And he's, whoa, man. So at one point, the tanks are broken down. They have these 3 Sherman tanks that they have as part of this whole thing to go attack. And, Kelly looks at him and he goes, what are you doing? He goes, tank's busted. He says, well, why aren't you helping him fix it? And he goes, oh, man, I just ride them. I don't know what makes them go.
That was kind of his MO when he came out. He was very much like the stoner hippie guy.
Yep. And then later on, they finally get there and there's this Panzer tank that's guarding the bank. And so, they get to this confrontation and then Clint Eastwood, I think it's Telly Savalas and Donald Sutherland, they go walking right up to this tank and you just see the big gun on the tank come right pointed at them. And, so they're going there to approach the guy to tell him because Don Rickles had said, they said that these guys said that the tank was in the way. And Don Rickles says, why don't you make a deal with them? And he goes, what kind of deal? And he goes, a deal. Maybe the guy's a Republican. Maybe he doesn't know what's in there. So they go up there and they basically tell the guy and says that there's all this gold in there and you can have an equal share. All you got to do is turn that tank around and blow that door wide open. And the next thing you see is that door and then it just explodes.
I'll have to watch that one. I think I watched that many years ago and I think I only saw it the one time. This all sounds familiar, and I'm just trying to picture it, and I can't.
Yep.
I'm happy for your intervention. I need to rewatch that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's a long movie, but like I say, I'll pick it up at any point and watch that movie.
With all the movies you mentioned, I was surprised that you didn't mention Beetlejuice.
That was a little bit later. That wasn't really my generation. That was your guys. Everything that I mentioned was
in the 70 through 80
before you were born.
Sure. Okay. That's fair.
That wasn't really our generation. That was created in the 80s.
Well, so were you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not really.
He was there.
Yeah.
That's right. I helped place the order.
Yeah.
But it's not I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. No, I guess that's true. That's true.
Well, how old were you in the 70s, Ken?
Me?
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I was born in 56. So, I graduated high school in 1974, which is when Blazing Saddles came out. Kelly's Heroes was already out. Godfather had already come out. The only one on here I think that hadn't come out yet was Star Wars. That came out in 77. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I was in college.
When did you graduate high school?
02.
Okay, so you're 02 through 12. It'd be your generation of movies, I guess.
Okay.
So, like the Mean Girls and Anchorman.
That's fitting.
Yeah.
Which I also like.
Yeah.
I love all movies.
Yeah. There's definitely some really, really fun movies out there that came from our generation. You know what? Let's get into what you're watching because there's some things on that topic that I want to talk about. And you know what, Stef, you've been sitting out like the best fat kid in dodgeball.
Me.
How about you go first, Stef? What you watching?
So I mentioned earlier in the podcast that Dad and I had started a show and he got on IMDb and started looking up the trivia and being like, did you know this? And I was like, I'm watching. So we started The Burrows. I finished The Burrows. Apparently I did not communicate that I was going to come home and watch it and finish it because I don't know if Dad has finished it. But
I've got one more episode to go.
Okay, so I won't spoil it. But we started watching that. It's made by the same guys who did Stranger Things, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Duffer
it has
Brothers?
that kind of, huh?
Yeah, the Duffer Brothers.
The Duffer Brothers.
Yeah.
Is that what
I think so. So it had that like same vibe where you're just like, what's going on? Mind you, I've never watched Stranger Things, so I don't know. I didn't know what to expect. But it's like, so I'm watching it. I started it at my place when I was alone. I turned it off within the first 2 minutes because there's a hand that comes down from the ceiling. And I was like, nope. So I made Dad watch it with me.
Yeah, she needed her daddy to protect her.
Yeah. And
very, very mature of you.
right, which is kind of fucked up because their house is haunted, and I'm sitting there going, "This is not the play either. I don't feel safe anywhere." So it was a good show. There's a lot of sci-fi kind of stuff going on, and the ending, you're just kind of like, "Wait, this just went a completely different direction." I did predict some of the things, but I was right, but I wasn't right. If that makes sense. Like I was on the right track.
So you've said a lot of themes. What's the show about?
Right. Still don't know.
Okay, because like I've got nothing from that. You're like, there's a little bit of sci-fi. There's a hand that comes down. I'm like,
okay,
what is this
I
show?
can tell you. All right, so there's this retirement community. Okay, all these old people, their kids move them into this retirement community, and interestingly, it kind of has what's the one with Walton Goggins that
Justified?
What?
Justified?
No, not Justified. The current one.
Fallout.
Fallout, yeah. You know, so how it has like that 50s feel to it in parts?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So it has that kind of 50s feel. This community does. You know, it's out in the desert somewhere. And what you start to see is that there's these monsters there that are coming out and they end up killing people. But then as you go along a little bit more, you find out that the people that own the place that everyone is going to.
Dad, don't spoil it. That's a spoiler.
That's not a spoiler.
Yeah, that's a spoiler.
Well, they're all right. Let's just say that they are behind something that is going on there that's very nefarious, and they're doing it for their own benefit, and that's why these other people are starting to suffer.
Human
But Gina Davis is in it, and she looks phenomenal.
Yes, I was going to ask Steph, are there any other names in it?
Alfred Molina.
Okay. Oh, good for him.
Love him.
Doc Ock. Yep. Love to see him do well.
Mm-hmm.
I like Gina Davis too. Like she was gone for a while, but she's had some straight up iconic roles throughout her career.
Yep. She was in the Exorcist TV show, which was a continuation from the movies, and it was really good. And I was upset it got canceled. It got canceled after season 2, and it was on Fox. But really, the first season was all you needed to watch because that was the continuation from the movie.
Back to me.
But
Dennis O'Hare is in there. And I love Dennis O'Hare. If you are an American Horror Story person, he's great comedic relief. So he's in there. He did a great job.
Which one is he?
He was Wally. Okay. Or he is Wally. Jenna Malone plays the daughter. And if you guys don't know who that is, she was the daughter in Stepmom. Which I spoke about recently. She kind of took a break, and then she was also in, I think, The Hunger Games. But it was good.
Yes, she was.
Fast.
I like her face.
Yeah, it's fast. It's fast paced. You do have to pay attention because there were definitely times I had to go back and be like, wait, what's going on? Like the entire last episode, didn't really pay attention. And then I was like, well, it's time to go back and rewatch it. It's got.
Did you say Bill Pullman? That's
yes.
No.
He is in the first episode.
Oh, spoiler.
He's the first guy that gets killed, Steph.
How do you kill the president?
Remember the president from Independence Day?
Yeah. So that's what I was watching. The other one that I will give an honorable mention to was the latest Conjuring, The Last Rites. It had a lot of jump scares. I think the makeup that they do in The Conjuring is phenomenal. Kind of dragged on. Glad it's the last one.
Yeah. I told you via text, I thought the third one was not very good.
I've heard it's trash, and I actually have not seen that one.
It was not good at all. It just didn't make any sense. It just had to do with like witches and stuff. I don't know. It was dumb.
Well, and this one really didn't make sense either. And if you look on Reddit, everyone's like, so who was the real demon? What's making sense? What demon is controlling it? Because in the first two, they named the demons. And in this one, it was just like, it just felt scattered and just like they were trying to put it together just to get an ending. And it's like you have 3 ghosts who are controlled by a demon in a mirror, and the mirror gets tossed out and then it comes back and somehow ends up in the attic, and the mirror is like killing people. It was chaotic. And I was looking at, the truth, because it's always based loosely on a true story.
Sure.
And everyone's like, none of that worked. None of that was real.
No. Well, and that's, call back to I think it was the last episode that I was on 2 episodes ago when Alex said he doesn't want to give Michael Jackson's estate any more money. I feel the same way about the Warrens, because they were con artists.
Right.
Because the whole first Conjuring movie was, about that, I forget the name of the house, whatever. But in any case, when you hear no, it wasn't Amityville. It was, I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Amityville, just not in this case.
Yeah, not in this case.
Almost always Amityville.
They did claim to go do stuff at Amityville. But in any case, like the farmhouse that they went to, like I've watched interviews with like the son who was there for it all. And he's like, no, they were here for 5 minutes, started doing some dumb shit, and we kicked them out. Like,
yes. It
was way exaggerated. And like, they did it to sell books, to sell their merch, to do all these things. And it's like, yeah, they were con artists, they were, and this was what, in the 1960s, I want to say, 60s, 70s, somewhere in there. But like to the point of like, people were easier to fool with that stuff back then. Right. So,
right.
But anyways, if it's free on a streaming channel, I'll probably sit down and watch it at some point.
You guys are really into horror. Did you ever see The Haunting of Hill House?
Yes.
So good.
I didn't watch the second installment, but I watched the first one, and I was scared.
I keep meaning to sit. Yeah, Bly Manor was good too. I keep meaning to sit down and watch the 3rd installment. I just haven't yet.
Oh, they have a 3rd?
It's better than Bly Manor.
Yeah, it's called Midnight Mass.
It's basically Salem's Lot on a small island, but in some trippy ass shit too.
Yeah, I think I watched like part of the first episode and I fell asleep. I was just really tired that day and thought I could do it. I couldn't. Didn't make it.
The Haunting of Hill House had me. The twists at the end, I really did like those, where it was her that she was seeing the entire time, the broke neck lady. I was like, so I really liked it, but I was definitely terrified. And again, watching this by myself, not the best idea.
Yeah. Good.
But I still do
it. Good show. All right. Moving on. Alex, what are you watching?
Well, I did watch Scary Movie. We talked about that. You know what? Last night, I started a new tradition. I sent you guys a text where I was just such an old French whore about it. And I just made some white rice with some soy sauce and a couple of like microwavable egg rolls. Like, this is a bad dinner. No, those are egg rolls. That's how you know they're not good, because they're indistinguishable from a completely other nationality of food.
They looked like greasy Mexican food, not.
Yeah, I thought it was taquitos.
They did. I was with Stef on that one.
No, those are egg rolls. It was bad dinner paired with a good movie, and I realized that my YouTube premium subscription has free movies, and since YouTube Premium doesn't have commercials, it was nice to like watch a movie without commercials. And I watched Children of Men.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Such a good movie. Steph, have you ever seen Children of Men? Clive Owen, Juliette.
I don't think I have.
Julianne Moore.
Julianne Moore.
Julianne Moore.
Really, really fucking good movie. It's about, actually, it's funny. Isn't it funny when you see like the crawlers that tell you the year of a futuristic movie and you're like, oh shit, that's already happened, or that's next year. Yeah. It's in the far off distant future of 2027. Yeah. And for the last 18 years, women can't get pregnant. There have been no new children born. And so the world is just kind of fucking sad as shit. And you follow this one character, this one guy who is just kind of drunk and dealing with his life, and he has to take on this journey. And through it, he finds hope again. But it is shot it's a really, really cool plot. It's a really cool movie, and it's well acted. But the cinematography is fucking brilliant. There are so many one-ers, so many one long takes that you just, once you know that, and if you're reading IMDb while you watch it, you will know that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say the one-er that they did on it. I say one-er now because of Jonah Lee's. He got me to start saying that. The one-ers, though, the one that they did where he's running through the street, the big battle's going on. And I didn't realize this when I first watched the movie, and someone pointed out later. that I think they said there was somewhere around 36 opportunities for him to pick up a gun, and he doesn't through the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't even realize like that they're doing a one shot when they're doing it. But like he runs through the streets and like, I mean, he's going through a battlefield and they're doing a one shot of that, which is an extremely hard shoot to do. But he goes through that whole thing to get to the baby to go save it and everything. And that is probably one of the most iconic scenes in that movie.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The protagonist is male, and it is a little bit more bro-coded is wrong, but there's some really, really strong female characters, and the female characters are not written poorly, like in a lot of bro movies. So I think you would like it, Steph. Like
you would like
watching
that one.
it, eating my nasty ass food, and at one point, kind of like welled up a little bit. Isn't that nice? Like when a movie can actually make you kind of get that, not cry, but just kind of like your eyes get a little wet.
I don't have emotion. I don't know.
Yeah. But you know what? Clive Owen deserves more work. He's great.
Yes, he is.
I have zero problems with him. He was even pretty good in Sin City. He was good.
Yeah, he was great.
He did a movie where he was like really good at shooting, and he was always shooting on carrots.
Shoot 'em up,
Giamatti. Yeah,
shoot 'em up.
Giamatti was the villain. Randomly.
I love that movie. That one is like, I didn't want to say it's a guilty pleasure because I feel like it's a good popcorn flick of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's just, I mean, all kinds of guns, and I mean, it lives up to the name, right? Like he's at one point having sex while shooting bad guys. Like it's pretty wild. But the music in there's great. You know, they get the high octane music. The premise is actually kind of fun, and it's really just man is taking care of a baby on the journey, and trying to figure out what's going on. It was a good movie. Mm-hmm. Good movie. I haven't watched that in years. I got to watch that one.
There you go. All right, Coach. What you watching?
Okay, couple of things. We just finished watching Hacks. You familiar with that one, Steph?
Yeah, I only made it through halfway through. I think season 3. We just kind of fell off, but not for any reason. Just got distracted.
That's really, really well done with Jean Smart, where she is this kind of old school stand-up comic. And in the very beginning of it, she's had this residency in Las Vegas for all these years. And then, but her stuff is very tired. They bring in this young writer to work with her and try to get her a little edgier, a little more current. And at first, of course, they don't get along at all. But then, they turn out to have this very symbiotic relationship where they kind of need each other. It's a really, really funny show. Some of the stuff that she says, I mean, Jean Smart is not a stand-up comic, but she plays one so well. Mm-hmm. And she's a broad. She's just one of these old broads. And
that's a fantastic way to describe her. And I think of it as a compliment. And this is
so you've seen it too, Alex?
I have not. I've seen all of the stuff for it, and I've heard it talked about in exalted tones. And it's just one that I haven't picked up on. Every time I turn on HBO Max, it's there staring at me.
Mm-hmm. Christopher McDonald's in it.
Then again, so is Euphoria, and I'm not watching that either.
Oh, so good. I'll talk about that next week.
I have no finger near any pulse of society. I'm getting high watching movies from 15 years ago.
So that one, and then we're currently watching Rescue Me, which we'd never seen. So
Dennis Leary show?
Yeah.
Did
you ever watch that one, Alex? It's so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good show. FX had a couple of straight up fucking bangers.
Yeah. I want to say that was the first show I ever truly binge watched. I think I watched a few episodes. I bought back before streaming. I had bought the DVD of the first season, and I watched through the first season very quickly, and then I went out and bought the rest of the seasons that were out, which I think they were up to season 5 at the time. It was just about to end. I hadn't watched it till that point, but I sat there and over a couple of days watched all the seasons, and it was just so good.
Yeah. Although Mom keeps saying, none of these people are very good or very likable.
I feel like Rescue Me was the start of the FX run where they just had hit after hit of shows.
Yeah.
They had The Shield. They had Nip Justified. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that Nip Tuck? Was that FX?
Which one?
Nip Tuck.
Nip Tuck. Yeah.
Very
they had
sexy
Wilfred.
surgeons.
Wilfred's
a good show.
It is a good show. It's wild.
So weird.
It was very weird. By season 3, it was so weird.
So fucking weird.
Good.
But at the same time, it was good. It was fine weird. I'm okay with that kind of shenanigan. Speaking
By
of,
the end of episode 1, it was weird.
yeah. I mean,
but it was fun.
A dog as a human.
It was
Ken,
dark humor.
What was the George Harrison's haircut? What was the name?
Arthur.
Yeah, you tried.
Not done yet. I just remembered that I was supposed to be doing this the whole time.
What part of Rescue Me are you on right now?
I think we're in season 5. So they had the other baby, and it's kind of the baby's traveling back and forth between his sister-in-law and his wife. You know, his wife finally got a job.
Okay.
The daughter just broke up, or the musician boyfriend broke up with her, and now she's starting to date Black Sean.
Oh yeah.
So,
I liked Black Sean. He was great.
Yeah.
It was a good show. It was a very good show. It was very well done. And, you know, it was a lot of the obviously post 9/11, you know, what firefighters were going through in New York at the time.
Yeah.
And I heard they had like a lot of consultants come on that were like at ground zero to help coach them on like the feelings and emotion. It was very well put together and very well thought through.
Yeah, and it's just interesting to see because they have, you know, all the stuff, the personal stuff that's going on at the firehouse, and then, you know, then they get into a fire and you just really see them do what they do. You know, and it's like cool looking, and at the same time you're like, yeah, I don't think I'd want to do that.
Yeah. You can get the occasional death in there. So,
yeah.
You know, usually they're like side characters and you like, but you know, still.
HBO definitely pioneered that era of like real prestige television. But for being just a basic cable channel, FX did a great job.
Yeah.
And even so, that Mr. In Between show I was pitching a couple weeks ago, that's FX as well. Only I think it's like FX Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you should watch it, Mr. In Between.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to watch that one.
You'll enjoy it. 23-minute episodes.
Perfect. I can handle that. So I'll get into mine real quick. So I have 2. The first one's going to be short. I'm just going to tell you should watch it. Tom Segura's Bad Thoughts season 2 just came out. It is one of the funniest sketch comedy shows I've ever watched. It reminds me of The Whitest Kids You Know. Alex, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, great
I know that one.
Do you? I didn't know if you were like that into it. I know I've sent you videos before. Like the Abraham Lincoln one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know of them. Apparently, I don't watch.
Yeah. But in any case, it was like, because like Trevor Moore and Zach Kreger, like when they would write some of that stuff, it was very dark, but it always had like a very good punchline at the end usually.
They were excellent at ending scenes, which is, you know, is the hardest thing to do in comedy.
Absolutely.
To find your out.
And that's why I love this show. And like, because this show, he writes it like he's a comedian, right? Like there's like jokes and you're kind of laughing along with it. And then he slaps you with the punchline at the very end of it. Like it's the way he does everything. His sketches are so crazy. I sent you guys that video today, the daddy dance video.
Oh, I forgot to watch it.
I didn't watch it either, but I do love you.
Yeah. It was.
I didn't watch it.
Okay, so watch it because it kind of tells you a little bit about it. So it was one of the sketches I had watched that in episode 2. I'm trying to spread it out a little bit so I can enjoy it. It's only 6 episodes. The episodes are like 20 minutes or so. Easy. But the whole premise of that one was he was a Southern like slave owner back in the 1800s, and he's sitting at the bar with his slave owner buddies, and he's like talking with them, and one of them says, he's like, and then I found one of them singing Amazing Grace in my kitchen in my own house, and then Tom Segura's sitting there, and he's like, I hate it when they sing the daddy song, and they're like, what? They're like, wait, what? What's the daddy song? And he's like, you know, Daddy, this is for you. And it's like a very gay song. The whole thing is like the slave that he has is gay and he doesn't know it. But there's a very good punchline at the end of it. But like the whole bit is just great. And I think it was in season 1, the funniest one that he did. So he's in France, right? And he had just gotten broke up with by his girlfriend. And he's walking down the street and this beautiful woman's up in the window and she tells him like, oh, you know, come up here. And he's like, me? Yeah. And he's like, okay. And he goes up there and she's like, yeah, I want to have all of the sex with you, all kinds. And he's like, okay, cool. And then she's like, but first you have to have sex with my sister. And he's like, all right, like, you know, where is she and all that? And she's like, oh, she'll be right here. And she comes out and then she like takes off her shirt and then like it's just like this hideous face on her back. So he's just trying to power through it so he can get with the sexy part of her. And it's It was nonstop laughing. Like there's a lot of stuff, a lot of comedies I'll watch now, and I'll be like, oh, that was funny. You know, I enjoyed that moment. But this is like, I don't remember that last time that like I laughed out loud uncontrollably like this. That's how much fun the show is. If you like dark humor, if you like that kind of thing, it's definitely up your alley. I think he was nominated for some Emmys for season 1. Like, nice. But he's also one of my favorite comedians, and I share a lot of his sense of humor. So, but yeah, check that one out. And then the last one was the one we didn't get to a couple weeks ago, Alex. Punisher: One Last Kill. We forgot to talk about it.
Good, right?
So it was so good.
It's so good.
So good.
It's exactly what I want my Punisher to be.
It was a surprise for me that it was as good as it was. I was expecting it to be a little watered down. I was expecting it to not be as dark as it was. It was violent. It was as violent as I wanted it to be. And I mean, it was because you told me, you had watched it before me. You told me like, hey, they jump into it right away. And I was like, oh man, what does he mean? And when the dude takes a homeless guy's puppy and throws it in front of a truck, I was like, oh no, this dude better get it. He better get it.
Yeah.
And he does. He gets it later.
There is it's exactly what Punisher is supposed to be. There's no holds barred. It is the 1980s. Fuck you. You know, just blood everywhere Punisher. And it's a self-contained story. It's just like, what was the timeline, you think, for that movie? It was within maybe 4 or 5 hours that it took place in?
Yeah. It was probably about 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Right. And I thought it was great, you know, because it reminded me a lot of, did you ever see the Dirty Laundry video that Thomas Jane did on YouTube?
Yes.
As the Punisher. Yes.
Which I respected the shit out of.
It was so good. And Thomas Jane and Ron Perlman got together and basically were like, hey, we're going to make a Punisher short, 10 minutes long. And it reminded me a lot of that, where he was like walking past the crime going on and just ignoring it, just being like, I'm nobody, I just exist and all that. But then like, you know, when it comes down to like to that part where she just, you know, sets the bounty on his head and he's in his apartment just getting ready, and like they light the gas on fire or whatever, and he's just like on fire, crashes through the door and just starts hitting people with an axe. I mean, it just got so intense. I want to watch it again. It was that good.
Steph, you will probably not like it. Ken, you might like it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You would probably like it, Dad.
Okay.
Yeah. Crack a beer, cook a steak, watch it, and say some misogynist shit that you're going to, you know, get in trouble for later.
Yeah. It's probably like 20 minutes of setup and 40 minutes of violence.
Yeah.
There you go. Which is the opposite of a Quentin Tarantino movie, which is 3.5 hours of setup and 10 minutes of violence.
Exactly.
Very nice.
But yeah, it was definitely worth the watch if you haven't seen it yet. One of the best things that Marvel's put out since Endgame.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I also enjoyed seeing the Beatles when they played in Germany. What was the name of that club again?
Which one? There were several. On the Reeperbahn? Is that what you're talking about in Hamburg in the early 60s? I mean, there was the Kaiser Keller. I think that was the first one they were at. And then there was the Top 10 Club later on. So, and then there was one other one, but I can't quite recall which one that was.
Okay, you already got me beat.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think the Kaiser Keller was right behind the Bambi Kino, the movie theater. That's the one where they got kicked out when they lit a condom on fire.
Oh, those wacky Beatles.
Yep, I think it was Paul and Pete Best.
I was going to say, probably Pete Best. He's such an asshole.
Yeah. George had already kicked out for being underage.
Do you listen to XRT on Sunday mornings with Breakfast with the Beatles?
Sometimes.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It was like a couple, 2-3 weeks ago, I caught it just at the end. And they, you know, finished it. I want to say they did the end as like the last song on it. But I could be wrong. Whatever it was very iconic, Beatles. And then the next song was Champagne Supernova by Oasis. Okay. I'm like, they have to know what they're doing here.
Yeah.
that's
yeah. So
Oasis.
I have a buddy named Mike Nikolic who is a big Oasis fan, and I totally ruined Oasis for him because he'd say, "Oh, you got to hear this Oasis song. This is really, really good. You're going to like this." And he'd start playing it, and then I'd start singing the song that they got it from along with the song. You know, it's just very derivative.
Okay, but he's not wrong. What's the Story? Morning Glory is a great album.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. It was part of my generation. It hit me at that time. Like that was right when I was graduating from, I got into it right after I got out of high school is when I was listening to that. So, the time and place that you first encounter music or a movie matters more. Like all of your movies on your list when you're a wild and crazy guy, if you will.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we're at about an hour and 30 or so now. So we're going to wrap up. Last thoughts, last words, Stef.
Just really excited. Dad was able to come on. Thank you for being our number one fan. Happy early birthday. We'll see you this weekend. Sorry I didn't get to participate as much. I honestly had no idea what you were talking about most of the time.
That's part of the course here.
That. Yeah, but now you get to go and watch all these movies and then report back next week.
Probably not.
Yeah, maybe next time you're stuck at the house, we'll put on one of those movies and I'll show you just how good they are.
Yeah. You've seen The Godfather though, right?
So I've actually only seen pieces of it, but yeah.
If you chop it up, and just watch it in segments, I think you would like it more. I think you would enjoy it, but it is so long.
That's the thing. I can't sit there for that long.
Yeah.
I would say if there was one movie from that list that I think you would watch and enjoy, it would be Blazing Saddles.
Yeah. And Dad has said that before. So that is one I will try.
That's a really funny movie.
Okay.
It's good.
Well, thank you guys for having me on. It's been a lot of fun. A little different than doing the softball podcast where we're all so serious about it. And I try to inject a joke every now and then. Sometimes it works. Sometimes I just get crickets.
Yeah.
So it's been fun been fun to talk pop culture instead. Thank you.
Well, you're always welcome to come on.
Alex, any last thoughts, words?
All right, I'll be on next week. No, I just
woke up, got out of bed, dragged a comb across my head.
Which was just a snippet of a song that Paul McCartney had laying around. It just happened to fit in with a day in life. Did you know? All right, so the alarm clock. Did you know that was an accident?
Really?
So, yeah.
It fits so well.
Yeah. They had the alarm clock on there so that they could track how long the musical interlude was before they went into that part. And the alarm clock went off, and then Paul started, woke up, got out of bed, dragged the comb across my head, and they just thought, man, that works. We'll just leave it in there.
Oh, you said comb. I thought you said something else. That's why I gave you a look, and I was like,
woke up, got out of bed, dragged a comb across my head, found my way downstairs, and had a cup. And looking up, I noticed I was late.
Did not hear that word.
All right.
We can sing that whole damn song. Ken, do you just want to hang out and just listen to the Beatles?
Just leave the studio on after you close it out.
Yeah, right. Adam, Steph, y'all have a nice time. We're going to start with Meet the Beatles. I don't know where we're going to.
All right. You guys have fun with that.
All right. Dad, any last thoughts?
Well, like I said, just thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I've loved listening. Oh, wait a second here. Always got to hit the mute. Always love listening to the Spit Take podcast. You guys do a great job. It's always fun to have hear what you guys are doing. I guess my last thought is diet plate, which you've talked about before. You remember that fondly. Mom remembers that as she was too lazy to make dinner. And so she would just throw a bunch of stuff on a plate and hand it to you guys and say, here.
Hey, when you're a kid, you can call it caviar. We don't know. Yeah. But thank you so much for coming on the show and being a supporter of it from the beginning. You've helped. You've either bought us the stuff for equipment for Christmas or just, out of the kindness of your heart. You've always been there when we've needed help with some of the audio stuff. So, we just appreciate everything you've done for us. And, we thought this would be a nice, fun way to celebrate your 70th birthday and something we could do for you. So
blessed.
#blessed. And but thanks for coming on the show and being the big supporter that you are. And to all of our listeners, we will catch you next week for another fun episode.
What was the name of your podcast, Ken?
Oh, yeah. From the Coach's Mouth. I do it with Jay Bolden. I want to mention Jay in there, who's the pitching coach at St. Xavier University in Chicago. And he's also a Be Bold fast pitch. He's a great pitching coach himself. So,
okay. All right. So awesome. Check him out.
Best baseball movie is...
God, that's too hard to name.
Sorry, I'm fucking with you. We got to shut it down. We're going on another tangent.
Yeah. It's Field of Dreams.
I'm dying here.
No, it's
Field
not.
of Dreams. We'll go Field of Dreams.
For love of the game.
Field of Dreams. All right. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.